A couple of the kids decided to take a 17-day long road trip cross country on Route 66, starting in Boaz, Alabama, and the end of Route 66 in Santa Monica. This is going to be our day one, starting in Boaz and ending in Oklahoma City. Myself, Beth Turner, Ben, and Coven Hernandez is the lovely Memphis, Tennessee. On the way to Memphis, we actually stopped at a Circle K gas station to refill our drinks, and it was so strange because we paid in cash, and when they gave us back our change, we actually received our change in half dollars. Kennedy had half dollars. And Memphis was going to be the Civil Rights Museum and the Lorraine Motel, but we accidentally happened across a huge set of murals, beautifully painted murals from different artists and different scenes. And we found out that it's something called Paint Memphis, and what we found was the 2021 murals. And apparently, it's a one-day event, which creates the largest collaborative murals in Tennessee. They bring art to the streets and make it accessible to everyone. Everybody can participate regardless of socioeconomic status, location, race, ethnicity, ability, and they're volunteer artists, and they paint the murals and to show off their talent. And we took lots of pictures because they're just breathtaking murals that has a lot of meaning, and even some characters that are artists themselves. It was great, and you can go to paintmemphis.org to see the different murals. I think that said it started in 2015, so there's lots more to look at than what we actually photographed. Um, This is the just a first set of the murals that we stopped and looked at because this was like the closest place to park at this little gas station car wash in Memphis. Corner that says "Don't fear the other side" was probably Finn's favorite, and one of my favorites was the Medusa head because I love the lore of Medusa and her role in Greek mythology. I agree that it was just a piece of art on the street itself, like right on the sidewalk. It says we are all damaged. It's how we still love with a broken heart that matters. If you look at these murals, there's one with Coven at the bottom, and see if you can guess who the painting is of. Absolutely beautiful. Coven is with an avatar painting, and it is very, very realistic and thin with some color block. But probably my favorite one of all is in the bottom left hand corner, and it is a magician or a witch, and she's conjuring with a raccoon. It's really pretty. That Beth and I are with is is very unique compared to the other paintings on this section because it is painted to look like cross stitch, which I'm sure was a painstaking piece of art to make. Very beautiful and very realistic rows to be such small sections of paint. Our destination, the National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Motel. It's noted as one of the nation's premier heritage and cultural museums. The National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee is steadfast in its mission to share the culture and lessons from the American Civil Rights Movement and explore how the significant area continues to shape equality and freedom globally. Us together outside the Lorraine Motel and the museum, and it's a very unique experience to be where Dr. King stood and where he was assassinated. Um, it was amazing that there were cars in the parking lot from all over the country, from each and every coast, and it was uh, it was a great experience to be able to be there and kind of stand where Dr. King stood and soak in what is an absolute crucial part of our history that makes us who we are, and it gives my children a right to exist. Exhibits with um, places that you can like press a button and it tell the history, and a lot of different stations that you can visit outside. These locations are absolutely free, and it tells the history of the civil rights movement and the struggles of the American people just to have a right to exist and have equality and dignity in being a human person. You know, I feel like that's just ridiculous that anything like that ever has to happen. But I give such gratitude to Dr. King and Malcolm X and all of those, Rosa Parks, everybody that ever took a stand for civil rights. And the the National Museum it's a 100%. You need to go and check it out. Uh, Things that you can do and see around Memphis. There are lots of museums and historic sites that are worth a stop and a visit, and you can't miss the FedEx Forum for basketball and all other events that are held there. Was Sun Studios. It is a very famous recording studio that recorded artists like Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Howlin' Wolf, Johnny Cash, B.B. King, Ike Turner. You know, it's just an iconic place to stand and be in the moment where, you know, that so many professional artists, you know, got their start. Really tall guitar is hard to get in one photograph, but it it turned out to be a great experience at Sun Studio. Before leaving Tennessee and heading towards Arkansas is Graceland, and the whole town is just covered in Elvis. And you can see there's just a snapshot from the car of the airplane. There was a lot of road construction around Graceland, and it was impossible to park and get in or even go by and just get pictures of anything. Um, and then, and happenstance, we passed by uh, the largest Bass Pro Shop, and it's actually the eighth largest pyramid in the world, and it's just sitting in Memphis, Tennessee, full of fishing gear. And this is the Memphis Arkansas bridge that passes over the Mississippi River. Welcome to the Arkansas portion of the video. Center right outside of Memphis, Tennessee, and took a picture and went inside and was able to collect pamphlets and other things about Arkansas. And the lady at the desk was absolutely friendly, very informative, and it was just a very nice welcome center, very clean. saw was to go to Little Rock, the state capital, and see Little Rock Central High School, which became the epicenter for the integration movement in the state. And if you've ever read the book Warriors Don't Cry, you'll know exactly what it means to stand on the grounds of the Central High School and know what a struggle it was for children just to attend school. And in today's day and age, it's really not been that long ago that integration was necessary. It should never have been necessary. Children are children, and education should be open to everyone. It shouldn't be a struggle just to go to school. But the Little Rock Nine sure faced a struggle that I wouldn't wish on any person. Central High School, we parked in the student parking lot, which has a beautiful Black Lives Matters mural that was painted by the students. It is directly across from this gigantic castle of a high school that I can't even fathom what it's like to be in those crowded halls as a student, much less 9 students that were just trying to get an education where the rest of the hundreds hated them and wanted them out. It's just a ridiculous thought in my mind to know that, kids had to struggle in that way just to get an education. I'm very, very grateful to everything that they persevered through so that, my kids can go to a public school, even though we still face racism and hatred today where we live. I will forever be grateful for those 9 kids and their sacrifices just to go and get a high school education. Shows the fight for integration in 1957. That's the year that my mother was born. And to think that these are the kids that, opened so many doors for so many. You really, really, like I said, if you've not read Warriors Don't Cry, get you a copy of that book and read it so that you can really grasp what these, 15-year-old kids went through. It's just, it's adjacent from the Visitor Center and South Park Street and the north side of Little Rock Central High School, and it documents the photographic history in brick and concrete arches as a reminder of the bravery of the Little Rock Nine and the legacy of Central High School. Within this space, there are 9 benches and 9 trees to provide seating and shade for a visitor to sit and reflect in this tranquil landscape. The outside of the arches is obviously brick with some inlaid cement work, but the backside is covered in black and white photos of members of the civil rights movement, and of something we happily discovered was some photographs of President Barack Obama, and we really enjoyed being able to see these images and understand the depth of their meaning. Of what's in the center of the commemorative garden arches, and it tells about the spirit of Central High. And right across is the service station where many reporters and magazine writers and a lot of different people from around the world came to document the story and the what is now history of the Little Rock Nine and their struggles, not only with their classmates but even with their state. The fact that Arkansas sent in the National Guard to prevent these children from entering the high school, and the world was watching. Bronze statues of the Little Rock Nine, as they were in 1957. It is actually the first monument honoring the civil rights movement to stand on the grounds of a southern U.S. state capitol. Um, it's very, very touching, and around the statues there are quotes and things from these very brave children. Kind of hard to read because they are set in bronze, but they're very poignant. You can pause to read what each of the plaques say. Yeah, pause to read. Capitol. Um, we took a picture of the Great Seal and the Liberty Bell replica that sits on the grounds right behind the Testament statues. On Memphis Bridge, we will be leaving Arkansas on a beautiful bridge. Went through Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, and now on to our fifth state of this very fun day, Oklahoma, for Oklahoma City tomorrow. The time we got into Oklahoma, we stopped at the Oklahoma Visitor Center to take a picture. We have stopped at almost all of the visitor centers on our trips, and this is just the beginning of some visitor center pictures. 731 miles, and it only took us 19 hours to see all the things that we stopped and looked at. Our original goal was to arrive in Oklahoma City around 9:30 or 10 p.m., and that didn't happen. It was more like 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning. We did stop and visit with one of my friends in Oklahoma City, and we went on to a motel for the night, and stay tuned for day 2 of this 17-day journey across and back from Alabama to California.